All right, so today we're diving into a really interesting way of looking at health, a framework that tries to make sense of how our bodies cope with all the pressures of modern life. It's a journey from the inside out. Let's jump in.
You know that feeling? Just completely overloaded? Maybe it's fatigue or stress, or you just feel like something's off. Well, the perspective we're digging into today suggests there's a very specific reason behind that feeling.
So, what we're going to do here is unpack a framework that kind of flips the script on how we think about disease. It sees it less as some outside invader and more as the body's own struggle to manage a buildup of what it calls homotoxins. And, most importantly, it offers a path back to feeling balanced again.
Okay, so where does this all start? According to this viewpoint, it's about constant exposure. And we're not just talking about the obvious stuff, like pollution. It's also things like heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, and even something as powerful as emotional stress. The idea is that all of this stuff can pile up, creating what the source calls a toxic overload. So the big question is, what happens when that overload just becomes too much for the body to handle? Well, that brings us right to the heart of this whole theory, a six-phase model that maps out how disease might progress. So this theory has a name. It's called homotoxicology. It was developed by Dr. Hans Heinrich Reckewey, and the core idea is pretty fascinating. It suggests that disease isn't just a random attack, but actually the body's own purposeful biological response to an overload of toxins. Okay, let's walk through this progression. It all starts with phase one, excretion. That's your body doing its job, just getting rid of junk normally. But if the system gets overwhelmed, you move into phase two, which is inflammation. The immune system is kicking into high gear. If that still doesn't work, the body tries a new tactic in phase three, deposition. It basically starts storing those toxins away in tissues to deal with later. Now, this is where the theory says things can get more serious. Phase four is impregnation, where toxins actually get inside the cells. That can lead to phase five, degeneration or actual cell damage, and ultimately phase six, neoplasm, where the body takes drastic measures to isolate these toxic areas. All right, so that's the problem laid out. But what about the solution? The good news is our bodies have this incredible built-in network designed to manage all of this. Let's take a look at the two really crucial systems that are at the center of it all. I love this comparison. It makes so much sense. Think of your blood system as the body's delivery service, the trucks bringing all the good stuff like oxygen and nutrients to your cells. But then you've got the lymphatic system, which is like the sanitation department, the waste removal crew. It's the highway that carries all the cellular garbage and toxins away. For everything to run smoothly, you absolutely need both systems working in harmony. This framework also points to these key organs of elimination. They call them emunctories, which is just a fancy word for the body's main exit routes for toxins. We're talking about the liver, the kidneys, the gut, and even the skin and lungs. And according to the source material, each of these pathways can be supported. You can see a few examples here of specific homeopathic remedies that are thought to align with each organ. Okay, so how do we move toward a solution? The whole focus here isn't about fighting against your body. It's actually the opposite. It's all about supporting its incredible natural ability to heal itself. And this is a really important point. The whole philosophy isn't about some kind of aggressive, harsh detox. Not at all. The goal is to gently stimulate the body's own systems, to kind of nudge it and encourage it to do the very job it was built to do: cleanse and restore balance. And when they say holistic, they really mean it. This approach looks at the physical level, right? Supporting those organs we just talked about. But it also considers the emotional side, acknowledging that things like grief or anger can have a real physical impact. And then there's the energetic level, which means supporting our mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every single one of our cells. Now, beyond any specific protocols, the source really hammers home that lifestyle is just fundamental. It's about taking practical steps to lower your toxic load. Things like choosing whole foods over processed stuff, staying hydrated, getting your body moving, and just being more aware of the chemicals and the products you use every day. It's all about supporting your body's natural systems in the long run. This whole way of thinking about restoration naturally leads to a pretty big question, right? Where does a traditional practice like homeopathy fit in our modern world? Well, the source material actually wraps up by offering a vision for how it could evolve. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the spirit of that vision. The idea isn't to get rid of tradition, but to evolve it. It's about building a bridge, not tearing one down.
So what would that evolution actually look like? Well, the proposed vision is about embracing modern science. We're talking about well-designed clinical trials, robust safety standards, and really digging into the mechanisms. There's also this idea of organopathy, investigating remedies that specifically target and support organs. At the end of the day, it's about building that bridge between tradition and modern scientific validation.
Okay, and we absolutely have to be clear here. All of this information is for educational purposes only. This is not in any way medical advice. For any health concerns you might have, please always consult with a qualified professional.
And that leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. What does the future of health look like? How might we shape it by bringing together the best of both worlds, that ancient wisdom and the rigor of modern science? It's a fascinating thought. Thanks for joining me.